Hi, everybody. Welcome to CommunityFIT and Stress Reset. I'm really excited to have another 6-week block of this course in particular with you because we all need this. We all need this more and more and more. I'm hoping that we can be a little more interactive with this 6-week block. And what I mean by that is sort of what we did with Move Lab on the last block, where I'd really like this particular class to be about you and supplying you with tools, ideas, concepts, context, stuff to help you metabolize and move through stress. And when you hear stress, hear nervous system disruption, hear trauma, hear overwhelm, fatigue, burnout, all of that stuff. It's all the same. So here's what I want for us to start off with today. I want to have a little bit of a conversation about what is stress and sort of what we're looking for with these practices. And what I mean by that is what we're looking for in each practice to know, is this something good for me today, good for me tomorrow, or something that maybe isn't good for me at all? Because often what happens when we show up to classes, movement classes, and in particular courses like this, classes like this, is you and I as participants, as clients of the class, assume that there is magic, there's power, there is a remedy within each of these tools. And so either we just do them in class and it's like, oh, that's great, and then we move on. Or you remember the 1 or 2, 3 things that you loved from the class because they really work for you. And then when you go to share them with friends, family, peers, whoever it might be, they fall flat or they're not engaged with, or people don't like them. And it's because it's not the right tool for them. And sometimes it's not even the right tool for you. Stress lands in us differently. Think about relationship stress versus money stress. It's the same thing in the body, but how we move through it and understand it and contextualize it has a whole lot to do with our history and our nervous system state moving through the experience itself, because experiences impact our nervous system, stress, trauma, disruption, and our nervous system state, how worked up we are or how relaxed we are in a moment, frame our day-to-day experiences. Think about a conversation with someone you love when you're feeling really good versus a conversation with that same person when you've had a really rough day. Same conversation, very, very different outcome. So let's get started. I promise I'm not going to talk the entire class, but I do think it's so important to create context, more so in this class than in Move Lab, although there's a lot going on there. But these ideas, these contexts, this discussion of us all together here is really how we regulate, is really how we metabolize and reset our stress, more so than even the tools. So the tools are important because they're the vessel for what we're trying to do, but it's not the thing we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is understand what we're going through at any moment. Because to be frank, you were never given the user manual to your nervous system. You were never given the user manual for stress and trauma, nervous system disruption, overwhelm, and all of that. And yet you go through it every single day. So I want to normalize it a little bit. We have, for the sake of this conversation, 3 nervous system states. We have a ventral or good feeling nervous system state. That's our default. That's where we like to be in more often than not. That's what you feel when you're sitting on the couch with a loved one, a best friend, a spouse, your pet, and you just feel good. It's that hot cup of cocoa, I'm really in the moment feeling. Then you have a sympathetic nervous system state. That's your fight or flight. That's, I need to get ramped up for something. And that's not a bad thing. It's very, very, very necessary. But to know that that is a different nervous system state than being at ease, than being interconnected, right? Now, when the two kind of come together, the in between those is play. So there's a lot of importance going on there. Our third nervous system state, and I won't spend too long on it, is what's called dorsal nervous system state. That's sort of Freeze. That's depression. That's, oh, I'm so overwhelmed that I can't even get out of my chair. Nervous system state. Now, in between sympathetic and that dorsal is stillness, where I could do something, but I'm choosing not to. So you can see that talking about and understanding nervous system stuff is complex, but it's something that we all know and we embody all the time. So it's in the system. Now, if you are feeling stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling traumatized in life due to 2020, 2021, and all of the other stuff going on right now, and I want to let you know, you are totally and completely normal. And your body, your nervous system is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. We are going through very tough times right now, and your nervous system state, your body is simply doing the best it can to help you survive. That's all it's doing. It does not care about you having a good day or a bad day. It does not care if the day feels sunshiny or depressive. It does not care about any of that. The nervous system's job, how we know, am I stressed or am I not stressed, has all to do with survival, not thriving, survival. So your wise, wonderful, beautiful, incredibly intelligent body and nervous system are doing exactly what it's supposed to do all the time. So I want you to just know that you are not wrong for feeling stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, and all of that. You are not doing poorly. You are not less than because you're experiencing all of that. In fact, you're normal and you are amongst the majority. When I'm having these conversations with people, when I'm showing up to groups to talk about this, or even just clients here at the studio, when someone says they're not stressed, I feel fine. I'm not really that anxious. My life hasn't changed that much. It's like you have some deeper observation to do. Because if you are not impacted right now, if you're like, I don't feel stressed, A, you wouldn't be here. But B, you're not, you don't have the full picture of what is really going on. I'm someone who doesn't think, oh, I'm stressed. I very rarely have the thought, the conscious understanding of, oh, I'm stressed right now. I'm overwhelmed right now. I get it in my body. For example, the other day, as you know, if you came to Move Lab, there was a literal dumpster fire in the back alley of the studio. Even as I'm sitting here right now, the reason Bob Ross, my dog, isn't here today is because the studio still smells. I'm not even sure it's safe to be in here right now. But I've been going through the process of that. Last Monday, I just had to send out an email to the insurance, to my landlord, to get everyone on board with everything. Just an email. That's it, just an email. By about midday, I had a headache. About an hour later, I had an upset stomach. And I could feel as the day went on, it was like my spine was getting squeezed all the way up. And now I could have thought, oh, maybe you're getting sick. Maybe you've just got a headache. Just take a pill. What I knew from this work is that, James, you are very stressed right now. And all it took was an email, sending out an email to ripple through and cascade along through that. So we are all in this together. So even if you want to drop in some comments just to say, yep, I'm feeling stressed too. James, yep, got that, understood. We would all appreciate it because we are in this together. This is an interconnected class. Now, what are we looking for with concern to, are the tools working or are they not working? I'm going to give us a few prompts here for you to consider and think about. Thank you. I'm seeing it in, I'm seeing it come in. Yep, feeling stressed. Yep. Now, how do we know it's working? Well, this comes down to we're just not trained in how to look for things in our body. So you are not abnormal if you're like, I can't spot it like that, James. I don't know if these tools are working. I'm just trusting. It's because you've never been taught what and how to look, what to look for and how to look for it. Here's a really simple one. Whether you want your eyes opened or closed, I want to show you, I want to prove to you that you can notice things in your body. So hopefully you're sitting in a chair or you're on the ground. Just close your eyes if it feels good. How do you know you're sitting in that chair versus a different chair? How do you know you're sitting in the way that you're sitting versus another way? If you couldn't say, oh, I'm sitting in this chair, so of course I have to sit like that. How do you know? What is touching your legs right now? What is touching your back right now? Where do you feel heavy? Where do you feel light? What is supported? What is unsupported? All of us can feel that. You've just probably likely never paid attention to it. Where in your body right now do you feel cool or cold? Look for it. Somewhere on you feels cooler or colder than somewhere else. It's usually easier, but sometimes people prefer to look for the warm thing. So cool, cold doesn't work for you. Look for the thing that's warm. Now, if you're already having troubles with these first two exercises, because that's what they are, they're practices, things to keep noticing so that you get more wise at noticing. Maybe just stick with those as we go forward. Not because you're not invited to come along for the rest of the ride, but simply that there's a wise well of knowledge in those first two experiences, what's cold, what's cold or warm, and how do you know you're sitting in the chair? And if you've never thought about that, and those are already difficult, stick with those. For the rest of us, if you've been with these practices, if you have a meditation practice, if you've been with me for stress reset, or you're just really curious, eyes open or closed, take in an inhale, and then let out an exhale. And I don't care how big, I don't care how small it is, just inhale and exhale. What do you notice when you inhale? What do you notice when you exhale? And I'll even give you a prompt. What is your energy level like? What is your awareness level like when you inhale versus exhale? Because we move through nervous system states, even when we just simply inhale and when we exhale. There's a reason why breathwork practices relax us or ramp us up. And that's what we're going to be covering over these next few weeks. It's not just practices to down-regulate us, but how do we work some energy up when we need it? How do we move up through the nervous system as well as down? How do we reset no matter where we are? Maybe what you noticed is that when you inhale, there's an increase in energy. When we inhale, it's our nervous system getting ready to do something. And when we exhale, there's a relaxation. It's more nuanced, it's more subtle. Exhale, relaxed, yep. So just noticing that. So if you can do the hot, cold thing and you can do the chair thing, but you're lost on the breathing thing, it's more nuanced. And often what we're dealing with in stress reset, what really catapults it into metabolization of stress, moving through, making friends with stress, utilizing that stress, is the ability to notice nuance. So just inhale, what do I notice? Exhale, what do I notice? The last one, because some of us are now visual, that's really for movement and kinesthetic feelers. Some of us are visual, about 50% of us. So look around your space right now, and I want you to just notice the things in the space. If you've been with me for a while, very familiar practice. We're going into spaciousness practice. So just looking around the room and just notice the things in the room. Objectively, if I was going to do it here, it would be like monitor, computer, water, leg, table, door, ceiling, just noticing things that are in the room. And then shift your attention to notice the spaciousness in the room. And what I mean by that is the negative space, the space you could literally move through. And when you notice the spaciousness in a room, you're going to notice, wow, there's way more spaciousness in this room than what I thought there was, than what I would have even commented on. Because when a room lacks spaciousness, we know that's a pathology. That's hoarding. So now turn your attention into your own body and look for an area in your own body. Sometimes eyes closed helps here. Look for an area in your own body that feels especially spacious. How would you know that? What words come up when you look for spaciousness in your own body? Does it feel free? Does it feel like liberty? Does it feel brown or pink? Does it feel soft or hard, cool or warm? Sometimes the words don't make sense because what you're looking for is an experience, a kinesthetic, a felt sense, a sensation in the body. And sometimes those take a while to formulate some words around. So sometimes zooming out and using words that maybe wouldn't normally use in a sentence about that makes sense here now. Does spaciousness feel like daytime or nighttime? Does it feel like satin or silk sheets? Cotton or linen? What does that feel like in your own body? How do you know you have found somewhere spacious? What's the scent of spaciousness? And then in contrast, look for somewhere that is lacking spaciousness. Maybe it feels congested, tight, in pain, an inability to move through it. The opposite of the words you just thought of. And we can notice at any time things that are cool or things that are warm. We can notice how we sit in a chair, what's supported, what's unsupported. We can notice in our own body, we can notice in a room spaciousness or lack of spaciousness. We all have that capability. So I'm not buying that you don't know how to judge if things are working for you or not. What I am very, very aware of is that you haven't flexed the muscles around paying attention to those things because you've never been asked to do that. And so I'm asking you for these next 6 weeks to just get really curious. What's the scent of, are these things working for me or not? And what is the thing I'm looking for? Do you want to feel cooler or warmer? Do you want more support or less? Do you want to push through something or have the spaciousness? Because as we go through these tools, what you want to feel, how you want to feel, what is the outcome you're looking for? What is the intention? Where are you headed with these practices? Is how you distinguish, is this working for me or is this not working for me? So right now, take a full body scan. What do your feet feel like? What do your legs feel like? Your pelvis, your shoulders, your ribs, your head? What does your physical body feel like right now? What does your cognitive body feel like right now? We've covered a lot already in 15 minutes, a lot of words. So I'm sure you've got thoughts. What are the thoughts? Are you with this or are you against this right now? What's coming up? Because that has everything to do with your stories. That has everything to do with your history. It's not true. What you're thinking right now is not true, whether you like it or you don't like it. It's not true. Those are just stories in your head. So just notice those. How about your emotional body? Or what I'm even just going to venture out and say, what's your spirit like right now? Is there joy or lacking joy? Is there ease or is there effort going on? Are you excited to be here or kind of, meh? What's going on with that? What's the emotional body or the spirit body like right now? What do you want to shift and change in the next 10, 15 minutes? Because we will. What's the thing you want to change and what do you want it to feel like at the end of all of this? Then when you're ready, you've done the cataloging, you've done a library, you've got your base. Now let's go into some practices. We've already established that what you're feeling is normal, no matter what it is you felt like. If your shoulder's in pain, totally normal. If you're monkey brained and all over that, totally normal. If you're kind of depressive, right? Totally normal. Or anything on the spectrum, totally, totally normal. Your experience right now is normal. We know what we're looking for. You know what you're looking for. What you and I are looking for out of these practices is totally different, likely. So let's get into some practices. First thing, we're going to cover some old familiars. And even if it's brand new, because there's quite a few of you on this call, if it's brand new stuff, great. Stick around. There's even more tools to come in the next 6 weeks. If you've been with me, what we're covering today is some old familiars and a new one for you. And I'm dropping it in today because I did it with Alicia a few weeks ago and she loved it. So there will be a new one today. But as we go through, what is the 1 or 2 practices that really work for you today? And what are you going to take with you? And I wanted to do it in a chair and I wanted to do it really close today to know, for you to know, These can be done anywhere, anytime, driving, in the office, in a conversation with someone, in a meeting with someone. They don't even have to know that this is happening. You have to know, what is the intention? What am I looking for as I do these things? Because if not, we're throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping something lands. And that's too random for me. Ready? Getting into the first practice, we're going to go through physiological size, something we did in Move Lab, something we do over and over and over again in CommunityFIT, and case study after case study after case study has shown how good this is for nervous system stress. So physiological sigh, it's a double inhale, single exhale. Inhale, inhale. Exhale. We're going to do 4 more of those. Inhale, inhale. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Inventory. What does your body feel like? Thinking body, emotional body. Did we move you closer to how you want to feel or further away from? Is this a practice to take with you or to leave on the table for right now? It's for you to decide. How did that make you feel? What did you like about that? Some people do not like breathing practices. Totally, totally normal. Very, very, very okay. If it's one that moved you closer, like, oh, I feel more in my chair. Oh, I feel more able to breathe. Great, take it with you. Next practice, rub your hands together. Get them nice and warm. And we're gonna put them on the front of the throat. This is a very important portion of the body, landmark in the body for nervous system health when it comes to stress. And all you have to do is just feel the warmth. Now, I can convince you over and over and over again that these hands are on the appropriate nerves in the appropriate place, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't like the feeling of hands on your throat, if it reminds you of something. So put your hands on your chest maybe, or on the sides of your head, on your jaw, on your belly. Where in your body wants to be touched with warm, soft, open, generous hands? Because again, what we're working with the stress, we're not working through talk therapy meditation stuff, although that's great. What we're dealing with here is biological stuff, the biological processing of stress, and our bodies know what to do with warm, soft, open, generous, supple hands. Feels like an appropriate time to move into this one, which happens to be Alicia's new favorite. So we're going to take our hands and we're going to crisscross. We're going to have the thumbs, sort of like you would make like a little bird or a butterfly. You're going to take and just rest those hands on your chest with the fingertips sort of on the collarbones. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft hands. And then the hands are just going to pat collarbones, like a little butterfly kiss. Maybe you want it down a little bit or up a little bit. Find the sweet spot for you. Now, what we're also dealing with here is rhythm. So maybe yours wants to go a little faster or a little slower. Maybe you just want to do one side and then the other. If it feels right, maybe even close your eyes and just listen to the sound of that. And notice how it's affecting your nervous system. If it's not good, skip it. Maybe do one of the others that we've already covered. Now, this has some cross-body work going on, right side touching left, left side touching right. Another very important landmark for your nervous system, but tapping and touching can work anywhere. I could do it to my jaw. All over my face. If I'm in a meeting, if I took one hand and just kind of tapped in between the thumb and the index finger here, I could be doing this on my Zoom call, working through the stress. I can do it along the index finger. You don't even know. So these tools can be practiced anywhere. Now, take an inventory. Did that move you closer to your goal? Are we moving in the direction that you wanted to go in? If not, skip it. If it is, catalog it, resource it. Don't wait for class time to practice it. Practice it in the mornings, in the evenings. Practice it all the time so that your body remembers what this feels like. Another personal fave, picking up your hands and shaking. I think of this as literally shaking off stress, because stress is like a film, it's a coating around the cells. And what we're doing here is we're literally shaking off the stress. Now, when I see this is like, well, I kind of want to hold on to 70% of my stress. Really shake it off. Let it shake all over. Let it shake your body all over. Shake, 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 shake. Now, that one can be a ramping up. We know that. You see even Olympic swimmers, we see Olympic runners do it. You kind of like shake and get prepared. You see people going on stage, hyping themselves up, boxers entering the ring, hyping themselves up with movement. Or it's shake, 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 relax, and notice the decompression afterwards. It's like a twofer. Do I want to get myself hyped, or shake, 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 shake? Feel the sands in the hourglass sink. It's a tool. It's all it is. It's a hammer or a screwdriver. It's for you to decide how you want to use it. So, did that work for you? What portion of that worked for you? Were you wanting to get more ramped up? Are you like, uh-oh, I got a meeting at 1. I got to get my energy back up. Hype it up. Or did that trigger you? Is it too much like a tantrum? Is it too far over in left field for you? And if so, fine, maybe return to it later or take it with you. So we've got the physiological side. We've got sort of a touch. We've got a tap. See that we've got that one. We've got the shaking, it's making people smile. That shaking can be used in a number of different ways. Now, sit, lie, be however you are with your back supported by something. That you notice that you have a backside because it's literally touching something. Just be there for a moment. You can have your eyes open, you can have your eyes closed. If you have your eyes closed, it kind of tunes you into the internal experience. If you have your eyes open, totally fine. That is a lot of people's preference. Just do a soft focus. It's like you're trying to see wide out of the periphery rather than staring forward. Got it? Wherever you're at, I'm going to choose to have my eyes closed. Wherever you're at, just notice the chair, the bed, the floor, whatever you're on right now, and how that literally is the ground rising up to meet you. It's like gravity, you don't even have to do the work. Gravity came up to meet you, which is a very different experience than if we're unsupported. In fact, if you lift your arm off the ground, the chair, the whatever it is, notice there's space, there's spaciousness in between your arm and the ground. You have to do the work to hold it up. But if you let that arm rest, it's like, I don't have to do any work. I don't have to do any work for that. I am supported. And maybe that's the mantra around this. I am supported by my chair. I am aware that I have a back line. I'm aware that I am a back. I am a back body. I feel the back of my ribs. I feel the back of my lungs. I feel my butt. I feel my hamstrings. I feel if you're somewhere where maybe you feel your calves or your feet, the back of your head touching something, the back of your arms touching something. I am a back body and I am supported. The world, the ground, the chair, the bed, whatever it is you're on has risen up to meet you and support you. You do not have to do it alone. You are not in charge and responsible for sitting. You are being supported. And just notice that. Notice how many times you've sat your entire life and you've never noticed how supported you are. You notice when you're unsupported, it's when they get the pain and all of that. But you've probably never paid attention. So when you're driving and you're feeling anxious, when you're in your office and you're feeling anxious, when you're in an argument and you feel anxious, sink into a chair and just notice the support. Notice how many other times in my life, how many other times in your life have you felt unsupported when all around you is support? And you've just not noticed it. How many times have you sat in a chair and just not thought of it as support, the world rising up to meet you? We miss it all the time. And when I feel supported, that allows me to relax and let go of my belly, of my chest, of my breath. So maybe the mantra around it is, I'm supported from behind and soft in the front. I'm supported from behind, open and receptive in the front. How will that change interactions? How will that change the way you notice stress, anxiety, and support? From today, what is one or two things you're going to take with you? That's all you got to do for today. Now, not every class is going to be like this. We will revisit context a few times, but mostly the class is going to have some tools. We are going to keep reframing it. And as I mentioned at the top of the hour, we're going to move much slower this time. A few practices each class, but really deep dive into them so that you have a library of resources to take with you into 2022, which is going to be a better year. It's gotta be a better year. So I will stick around for some questions. I want to read into your comments here, and I thank you so much. And I hope you join us tomorrow for Move Lab, and again on Friday for more stress reset. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Hey, is there a name for that move that I like? It reminds me like a butterfly.
I think it's butterfly. You know, I don't know. I learned it in a resilience course a few years ago. And then it was revisited in a certification program I'm going through right now. And I was like, oh, I do like that one. And I've heard it talked to. I learned it from Nakim Nadefo, who created Lumos Transforms and the Resiliency Toolkit. She's an amazing trauma therapy stress person, and she calls it butterfly kisses. So that's what I call it.
Butterfly kisses. Oh, that's even better. That's what it reminds me of. And
Yeah,
you're right. It's that cross body and that tapping on that area. For
it's
me,
really gentle. It's really, it's like you gotta, it almost causes you to kind of listen for how subtle it is.
Yeah, thank you guys for all of your comments. I know there were a lot of people who shared that, yes, they were feeling stressed. And then they also shared, you know, that exhaling helps them feel relaxed. Shoulders feel relaxed when I exhale, free of thoughts when they exhale. Yeah, so that's what you want to find, are the different tools that work for you.
Yes.
Someone said it made me smile. I was feeling blue before.
I know.
I know the feeling.
So many good comments today. Thanks, guys and gals.
I missed yesterday. Anything different? So yesterday was Move Lab. So if you want to join us tomorrow, I'm sure James will be going through a lot of similar stuff. So Move Lab is a great movement class with a lot of stress reset techniques as well.
Yeah. So if anyone is on this and you're like, I'm kind of curious about Move Lab. What is Move Lab? So I call it non-denominational movement class, because as you're going through it, you're going to sort of go, oh, that kind of looks like yoga. That kind of feels like Pilates. That's a little calisthenics mixed in. Oh, there's some mobility work. Oh, there's some nervous system. It's kind of all thrown together in a really playful, fun, invitational, all bodies welcome format. And it is my job as the teacher to think through and process a really logical way of exposing you to the movement material, so that your sole job is to show up with a little curiosity, a whole bunch of humility, and just go, I think I'll try that. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. I love that non-denominational exercise. movement, non-denominational movement. That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Yes, Martha, recording. So we do have the recordings from the previous 2 blocks. They're all already up on our YouTube channel at Western Health Advantage under the playlists. I'm not sure how quickly. I know we're going to get these recordings up quicker than the last time, but I'm not sure just how quickly. But I will let you know as soon as these ones are up as well. You can access the former ones, though.
Yes, and there's a lot of like I said, for Stress Reset, we're going to be covering a lot of similar material as the last 2, some new stuff mixed in, but we're going to go much deeper in these sessions, spend a little more time on each thing. And Move Lab, the last 2 sessions in particular, the first series that's on there, we covered so many of just the foundations of what Move Lab and my movement style is. Second session, second 6 weeks, was really question and answers from participants. So they did a really good job. We covered a lot. We covered feet, we covered shoulders, we covered back, we covered balance, we covered stretching, we covered a bunch of prompts. This session is of Move Lab. We'll cover all of those, but we're really interested in skill building and flow. So it's much more movement forward. And so the last 2 sessions are really good if you're new and you kind of want to go, oh, what is this? They're really, really good foundations for where we're headed.
Yes, yes, definitely. Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to skill building. So
yes, I am too. I'm like, really, that's where I'm at in my practice right now, is like heavy on this, and then just like skill building, movement for movement's sake, fun. Let's just move and just do it. Yep. So that's where I'm at in my practice. So that's what I have to teach.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We will see you tomorrow for Move Lab at 12:15. We'll get started, but we'll see you at 12.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.